Hey, good morning. Sorry I'm running a little behind. It's Michael LeBlanc with Divine Dirt Inspirations. So I was spending too much time in my head wondering, well, what the hell do I want to talk about? So I'm going to share a couple of tips today. And one of them is around how to just stay more centered, interrupt negativity, but also as you get centered, tapping into that divine intelligence, that intuition that we all have. And how do I do that more often in my day? And then the other tip is around interrupting just kind of negativity going on in your head, negative thoughts, negative beliefs, and what's a simple way to maybe do that and what helps with that. So those are the two things I want to share today. So the first one around your day naturally. So I like to keep things simple, right? Let's not do something complicated if we don't have to. So normally for most folks, your day just has natural transitions. So you and I'm just going to pull stuff out of the air here, but let's just say you check some emails and now you need to pause that and you're about to go to a meeting or you're about to start another project or you're about to go on to something else. And there's just this natural transition from what you were doing to what you're about to do. Before you just jump, right, and go to the next thing, just literally 60 seconds, 90 seconds, give it a whole 2 minutes. But literally, before you jump to the next thing, just breathe into your heart space, center, feel yourself just breathing here. It's just a way to shift out of your analytical mind, your day-to-day thinking, whatever you were doing, and just return back to center. Sense that divine self, that divine heart space, and just really breathe there. Don't do anything. Just sense your breath. When you sense your breath, you interrupt thought. You'll slow that down. You'll slow you down. You'll get back to center. And literally 60 seconds, 90 seconds, 2 minutes, you will feel just a shift. If you feel the shift, it means you've shifted your consciousness. You're shifting your energy. You're leaving kind of that space you were in. And now that you're in that space, don't ask your brain what's next. Just ask your heart intelligence, that divine intelligence, just what's next. And it might be the next thing on your to-do list, or you might hear something different. And then try to follow that. Even if you don't ask the what's next, you are still giving your sense to recharge and kind of refuel in the moment. A lot of times we kind of live our day like a run-on sentence. You just go from one thing to the next. There's no built-in periods, commas, pauses, anything. And then at the end of the day, you feel a little spent. And it's because your gas tank doesn't have to go all the way to E before you fill it up, right? So look for natural transitions in your day. You're finishing something up. You're going to go do something else. Go within for 60 seconds. Breathe into your heart space. Feel a little bit of a shift. The shift means your energy shifting, your consciousness is shifting, you're leaving your analytical mind just for a moment. It'll always be there. You can always return. And then as you're there, just genuinely ask your heart space, that divine space, what's next? So that's one of the tips. All right, so tip number 2. It's still related to sensing your breath in your heart center. But when you notice negative thinking is happening, and it happens to all of us. I've been meditating for years. It still happens, right? But when you notice it, and maybe it's been going on for a bit, and then you notice it, maybe you catch it early, whatever the case might be. One of the things I play with is I will say this to myself. I'd rather sense my breath than think that thought. A lot of times we feel like we don't have control, like we are just sort of victims to what kind of goes on in here or what goes on out there. And we're really not. We have habits of thought. There's a lot of neurology that's wired to go a certain way, so it's easier. It's practiced. But it doesn't mean I'm a victim to it. So the other tip, and I sometimes practice, is when I notice I'm getting caught up in a negative thought or a negative belief or whatever you want to call it, I will literally tell myself, I'd rather sense my breath than think that thought. And here's why it's significant. When you sense, and I'm using that word deliberately, when I sense my breath, sensing is different than thinking. So as I sense my breath, I'm interrupting thought. If there's a lot of momentum to the negative thought, I'll have to sense my breath for a few moments for the momentum to slow down. If the negative thought's just beginning and I start sensing my breath, then it's easier and it's quicker to kind of let the thought go, detach from the thought. I'm not trying to stop the thought. I'm just really withdrawing myself from it. And if I've been lost in it, I'm really withdrawing myself from it. So that's tip number 2, just to use your breath, but sense your breath and say to yourself, I'd rather sense my breath than think that thought. And play with that. See what happens. So I am Michael LeBlanc. I hope those couple of tips help you as you go into your day. You can reach me at michael@createwithconsciousness.com. Leave a comment, like, love, share, whichever of those you prefer, or all 3. What else? So it is a stressful time. I teach energy meditations on purpose because I do believe if we shift our inner energy and consciousness, it shifts things in the outer world. Action is useful, but if I'm lined up inside and I'm lined up with my action, it goes a whole heck further than if I take action and my inner beliefs, my inner energy, my inner consciousness isn't in line with my action. So if you need a hand, especially during the holidays. I do free coachings, initial sessions. Just holler, reach out. Michael@createwithconsciousness.com. Send me a message. We kind of get clear about what you're after. I like experience more than I like talking, so I tend to lead people into energy meditations, even in the first initial free sessions. But anyway, reach out instead of struggling and suffering silently. if that's your thing. It's my thing, so it might be your thing. All right, I'm going to quit rambling. You have a great day. Again, say hello, leave a comment, like, love, share. Let me know how it goes. But remember, just sense your breath instead of thinking that thought that you don't want to think. Use pauses in your day, naturally transitioning. Breathe for a minute or two, 90 seconds, 60 seconds. Go to your heart center. There is a real divine intelligence, so ask it. Hey, what's next? All right, bye. Have a great day.